After rollercoaster season 1 where we started off with West Ham, moved over from them in February over to Germany to Werder Bremen where we eventually finished 13th. We are kicking off season 2 with the Werder Bremen Career mode here on EAFC 26. Yes guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you are all doing well and hope you have enjoyed the first season of this series, and hopefully will enjoy this second season where we jump straight in after the last episode. A good end to the season 1 in the last episode. We did get a message from the captain of Werder Bremen, Marco Friedl, that he wants to renew his contract, so we don't mess around. Straight away in the new season we do go into contract negotiations with the captain and we do agree a new deal for him. Contract extension of 3 years, put him as a crucial player, obviously the captain of the club, and he's currently on £25,000 a week. Based on him being the captain and based on his performances, we do offer him a wage of £30,000 a week, which he will take, and we have got hold of Marco Friedl for at least the short term for the next 3 years, and hopefully he can do a really good job for us. But we wanted to obviously look, we have lost the loan players, we wanted to look at obviously what players we do have left. We do have 4 players in the last year of their contract. The only one, if I'm being honest, will probably stay around is Smarkalev. The others will probably be sold. Obviously Kolke we're putting up for transfer. We've got Agu who handed in transfer requests, and we also have Stark who has got a pre-contract agreement with Fulham to join them, so probably just Smarkalev who is going to stay out of all of those, but we'll look at the contracts later on. And then just looking at the team we are starting with, and you will see the starting lineup we currently have got. We know we've lost a lot of players from their loan contracts expiring, Boniface being obviously the headline one. We've also lost Cole Hein, as well as some bit-part players like Schmidt the left back and also Sagawara, so we definitely knew we needed to build, and we do start off with a budget of just over £17 million in order to rebuild the team. And as you will see here, we do have our current shortlist. We mentioned obviously last season that we were looking at mainly centre-backs and strikers, the striker obviously being to replace Boniface and the centre-back to partner the captain Marco Friedl in that backline. We wanted a defender with pace, so you will see a theme there of the defenders that are fairly pacey players. And the striker, like I say, mainly to replace Boniface. He put up a lot of goals for us, so we wanted a player who could hopefully emulate what Boniface did for us, or at least get close to where he was for us. But this is the team we are starting with, in that 4-2-4 where we finished for last season, and like you can see there's definitely gaps in that team, and that is how obviously the tactics are looking. So definitely gaps that we need to fill, and the first one of those was obviously Stark departing. As I say, he did agree a pre-contract agreement with Fulham to move over to the Premier League, so he has confirmed his departure over there. And then we did get a message from Kolke. Obviously we did put him up for transfer, and he said he was glad that he was put up for transfer. He wasn't getting any games, so he was looking to obviously move on from us. But we did go and make our first sign of the season, and it is a familiar face. We mentioned in the last episode we wanted to sign him when he was already on loan at us, but obviously it wouldn't let us, so we had to wait for him to go back to Arsenal before we could look to sign him, and it was that man, the goalkeeper from last season, Cole Hein, 24 years old, 76 rated, market value of £8 million. We went into negotiations with Arsenal and with Mikel Arteta, and we did eventually agree a deal of £7.2 million, slightly under his market value, and I feel that's a good value and a good signing for us. As I say, only 24 years old, performed exceptionally for us last season. We know we're getting with Cole Hein, and hopefully he will be able to perform in the sticks for us and keep as many clean sheets and win us some points as much as he can. All it needed was obviously the negotiations for the contract with himself and his agent. We knew it was going to be fairly straightforward with him already of having been here, and we do agree a deal, £25,000 a week for the youngster, and we do have our first signing as Werder Bremen manager. Not a new boy, one that has returned after his loan spell last season, and it is the man, the goalkeeper, Cole Hein, our number one going into this season. But we obviously knew that we were going to have some interest for our players. The first of those was Marco Gruhl. We did offer him and sign a new contract with him at the end of last season, but he actually had a pre-contract offer on the table from Mainz, which we obviously didn't want to lose him. Obviously just signed to a new contract, but we did agree a £9.3 million release clause in that contract, and eventually he did go over to FC Mainz. That kind of money for a player like Gruhl we couldn't really turn down. We could have offered him another new contract, but ultimately he wanted to go. It's good money for a player that is not on the right side of age, if we're being honest, and he wasn't going to grow very much as well, so we could definitely invest that money back into the team, but not on the right wing spot where Gruhl was playing, because we did decide to put Schmidt on a training plan. He wasn't going to play in the centre of the park, obviously the 2 defence midfielders. He wasn't going to play up front, so we did decide to convert him to a right winger for him to be that starting right wing for us. And we did decide to go straight to invest some money into Shuto Machino from Borussia Mönchengladbach. The striker, 26 years old, only 76 rated admittedly, but decent stats all round for him. And we did agree a deal of £8.3 million with a Japanese striker who we are going to be looking to replace Victor Boniface. Big shoes to fill, but hopefully Shuto Mishino can fill those boots. He's got good pace, he's got good strength, good shooting, and overall some really good stats all round. And again, once again, like it was with Cole Hein, all that was needed was for contract to be agreed. He's on £25,000 a week at Mönchengladbach, and we did offer him £25,000 a week here at Werder Bremen, which he was more than happy to accept. And we do have our new striker to partner Jinmar up top for us, be that Boniface replacement, and it is the Japanese striker Shuto Mishino, with those big shoes to fill, and hopefully we will see the best of him. And as you can see, like I say, from his stats, 86 pace, 76 physical, decent shooting at 75, 77 dribbling as well. So although he's probably not going to grow too much being 26 years old, he's got some really good stats already. If he can grow a few of those a little bit more as well, then we'll definitely be in a good position. And then we did decide to get another player out the door, and it is Felix Agu. Obviously, he put a transfer request in the last episode, £10 million to RB Leipzig, and he went across over to Leipzig in Germany still. And we will see him whenever we play Leipzig, and hopefully we will beat his new team. And then obviously it was time for pre-season. We did accept the £2.37 million sort of bonus for winning the European Shield, so hopefully we'll see how that goes. And we did get Schmidt. He did convert to a right winger, and we did decide to put him on that wide playmaker role because that is the tactic we're going to be using on that right hand side. And we did get a message from Max Fingraf saying that he wants to obviously play in left back. He thinks he's the man for the job. We've got rid of Agu now, so Fingraf, at least for now, will be the man who starts in that left back position. We go into the first pre-season game against Almira with our strongest team, that 4-2-4 formation. Shuto Mishino making his debut, and we do manage to get the draw. But it's one of the old boys, Starga, who gets both our goals from that midfield. And then luckily for us, based on that, the job security does go to safe. We mentioned previously around how the Werder Bremen board seemed to be very flip-floppy. 1 minute we're insecure, the next minute we're safe. But luckily for now, we're safe. So we'll definitely take that one, and hopefully we can build on it and get into an even stronger position. But unfortunately, we did lose the second pre-season game 4-1. And then we did go and try to sign another player for us. One from Germany once again, another player who knows the league. And this time it was Namdi Collins from the Bundesliga winners last year, if you didn't see the last episode, Frankfurt. He's only 76 rated once again, 22 years old, not starting for Frankfurt, so we felt we had an opportunity for it. Market value of 13.5. We tried around about 15 million because of obviously the limited finances we had, but unfortunately they needed to take some time to think about it. They weren't going to accept that offer straight away, and hopefully they'll come back and we can get that. And then we did have an offer for Schmidt, £28.4 million, and unfortunately that was actually his release clause. He came to us and said, I've got an offer lined up, they've paid my release clause, I'm happy to stay here, but I'm also happy to go if you feel it's best for my career. But unfortunately for Schmidt, the new right winger for us, we did want to keep him at this club, so we went straight into contract negotiations, no messing about, not wanting to risk losing him, and we did offer him the crucial squad role, and we didn't offer him an extension. Obviously he's still got 5 years left in his contract, still a long time. He still wanted a release clause, just under £56 million, just to make life easier and to make our negotiations with him easier. We did accept. I mean, at the end of the day, if we get £56 million for Romano Schmidt, we'll be more than happy, and I'm sure he will be as well. So we did agree to that new release clause, and we did agree to up his wages slightly to £35,000 a week, £4,000 a week more than he was on. And fortunately for us, Romano Schmidt was more than happy to stay at the club, and fortunately that release clause will be wiped out. He won't be leaving the team, and he is happy to be staying in Werder Bremen in the north of Germany, and hopefully he can perform well in his new position on that right wing for us. But going back to obviously the Amanda Collins transfer, we offered obviously for 15 million. They wanted 16.8, which actually, although it didn't leave us much money for anyone else, we did go ahead and accept that offer. But unfortunately, when we went to negotiate the contract, we did get the message that we don't have the financial means to pay his wages. So unfortunately, it was one that we weren't going to get across the line unless we sold anyone fairly soon. And obviously, we'll have to see how that one goes, or we'll have to turn to alternative options. But before that, we had the final pre-season game away to Real Oviedo, but unfortunately we did lose that one 2-1. But fortunately, Shuto Mishino did get his first goal for the club, and hopefully that won't be his last one for the club, obviously. And then we did sell Kolke, the goalkeeper, which did free up some wage funds for us, so we did decide to go back to Namdi Collins after we'd agreed that fee with Frankfurt to see if we could hash out a deal. We went to pay him some wages, or offer him some wages at least, after agreeing everything else, but unfortunately we only had £4,000 wage budget allowance, and unfortunately, as much as we tried to up that, we weren't allowed to go above the £4,700 a week. So obviously Collins was never going to accept that. and he did stay at Frankfurt, and we don't have Collins in the team. But a player we were looking to move out was Ortiz. We got an offer from Sheffield United for a loan with an option to buy. We didn't want to sell him, so we did just agree the straight 1 year loan deal for him, and hopefully that one will go through. And then we went to the alternative for Collins, and it is that man, Max Rosenfelder from Freiburg, another player who knows the leagues, only 23 years old, 76 rated, room to grow. Market value of £12 million. Eventually, we were looking at around £14.5 million, and we do agree a deal with Freiburg for the deal for just over £14.5 million. And then once again, all it was down to now was the negotiation. So we went straight into that to hopefully hash out a deal and get Rosenfelder through the door and be our starting centre-back alongside the captain Friedel in the back line for us. He's currently on £19,000 a week. Just to get him through the door, we upped it a little bit to £24,000 a week, a £200,000 signing on bonus, and the young German was more than happy to accept it. And Rosenfelder comes into Werder Bremen, and he, as I say, will be the centre-back partnership alongside the captain Marco Friedel, and hopefully those two together can build a really strong foundation in that defence and lead us to many clean sheets and many wins. And just good looking at his stats, as I say, only 23 years old, really good pace for a defender, 89 sprint speed, you will see there. A little bit of work to do on his physical side of things, maybe looking a little bit on the weak side at the minute, but we can definitely improve that. But his general defending looking really good. When we did get confirmation of that Opitz, loan transfer to Sheffield United, and now we look at the first team squad, compare that to where we started, we're definitely looking better. We've still got a slight weak area in that left back role, but at the end of the day, I'm more than happy with Finkgraf playing in that left back role at the minute. We've got good back line, we've got good midfield, and we've got a good attack as well, providing Machino obviously does well for us and starts off firing. And we do go into the first game of the new season in the Bundesliga looking to get the win. And like I say, in that 4-2-4 formation, we played it at the end of last season. We got some good results from that, most notably obviously the draw against Dortmund on the last game of the season, and hopefully it was going to lead us to more victories this season, an improvement on that 13th place finish from season 1. And the game is against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Obviously this is Shuto Machino's former club, this club he signed from, and he is making his debut against his former side, and hopefully he can put them to bed and get the win for us at home. But it was Mönchengladbach who started better. The ball on the left hand side here falls eventually to Sturger, and looks to find a way past the defender, does manage to find Kleindetz, and a good shot from him. But the new boy, Cole Hein, on his second debut, I suppose you can call it, does make the save and keeps the ball at the back of the net. And then once again, Heinz there tips the ball over the top or to the side of a post after that good header from a Mönchengladbach player, and it does go out for a corner. Claudio Reyna looks to play that one in. It's Kleindetz again who gets the header, but another good save from Cole Hein to push it behind for another corner, and it is going to be Gio Reyna once again swinging that ball out with his right foot. Falls to Kleindetz, good header from him, and unfortunately Hein was stuck in a little bit of no man's land there, and the ball does go in the back of the net to give Mönchengladbach the 1-0 lead half an hour into the game. But just a couple of minutes later we did get a chance ourselves. It's Schmidt on that right hand side, plays into the big man Alvaro, finds Jinmar, Jinmar with his left foot, easy finish for him. So as soon as we conceded, we went straight up the other end of the pitch, and we did manage to pull the game back level and bring the scores to 1-1, and Justin Jinmar gets his goal. Obviously the two strikers, Jinmar and Shuto Machino, obviously have a lot of goals to replace from Boniface, but that's a really good start for Jinmar, and hopefully he can carry on firing. But unfortunately, just after half time, Borussia Mönchengladbach did take the lead once again. Robin Hack with a goal. The ball fell through, it missed the first player, or the attacker and the defender, fell to Robin Hack, who smashed it in for his first goal of the game. And it's Hack once again, another good shot, but Cole Hein stands strong and pushes that one out and away from danger. But Machino gets his first good chance. He plays the ball into Jinmar. Jinmar, for whatever reason, leaves it. It falls to Bangula, but unfortunately the shot was straight at the goalkeeper and saved and pushed behind for a corner. And then about 20 minutes before the end, Robin Hack once again curls one in from his right foot and puts Mönchengladbach 3-1 up, 2-goal deficit with just half an hour left, or 20 minutes left should I say. We knew it wasn't going to be an easy one to come back from, with Hack getting his second goal of the game. We knew we needed to make some changes. Starger and Schmidt both coming off, and we do bring on Kovic on that right wing for us, and he links up really well to start off with Machino, and a good finish from Kovic, his first involvement in the game. The young Croatian Patrice Kovic gets his first goal of the season, and he could have a massive season for us here. Like I say, he's more of an attacking midfielder, but he can play on those wings, and if he carries on like that, he's going to play really well. And look at that touch from Machino, really good chance for him to score on his debut, but unfortunately a weak shot was saved by the goalkeeper and pushed out of danger. The ball eventually finds its way back to Kovic, into Alvaro, the big midfielder, falls into Bangula. Bangula gets a decent shot from range, but the outstretched arm from Omlin pushes that one behind for a corner. to us, and Bangula looks to play this one in, swings it in, it falls to Machino, decent header, but unfortunately Rosenfelder, the other new boy for the team, couldn't quite get a flick on it, and it was save for Borussia Mönchengladbach just before the end of the game. Full Forstall Visa, and the game does end. So unfortunately a loss in our first game of the season, but definitely an improved performance from some of the games last season. Did lose 3-2 obviously at home, but some good performances out there, especially from Ratman Kovic after coming on for his first game of the season. But that is going to bring the episode to an end. Just for one game today. Hope you have enjoyed it. As always, comment down below. Please like if you have reached this far. Please subscribe to follow season 2 and the journey. Take care of yourselves. Bye.